Everyone, it's me, Tiffany. Welcome to my channel where I share all things pregnancy, postpartum, and motherhood related. I'm a certified birth, postpartum, and bereavement doula. So that means that I support women and their families on their journey from conception to postpartum. If you have not had a chance yet, please check out my website, www.sacredarrival.com. You can check out my childbirth education courses. You can check out my doula services, and there is going to be new merch coming soon. I'll talk more about that later. So I had a discussion with my mom, and she was talking about one of my videos that I had done where I was talking about the maternal mortality rate here in the United States. And so since I had the pleasure of giving birth overseas in Germany, she was like, well, why don't you kind of discuss like the differences and like what it was like for you, over there versus here in the States. So my 13-year-old was born in Germany in 2011. It was definitely a different experience and in a good way. So when I got there, I was already pregnant, and I ended up losing that baby. I was like maybe 15 weeks along. And even the process of having to go through like the whole D&C, because I did have to be put to sleep and they did have to remove the baby and everything. But that whole process, I really felt seen. I really felt heard. And it's crazy because even with there being a language barrier, the person that I was working with, like the nurse that was triaging me and everything, she still wanted to make sure that I was as comfortable as possible, and wanted to make sure that she had like all my allergies down. I remember I was telling her that I was allergic to sulfa and lidocaine, and she was like, she didn't understand. And we were like, wait, Google is universal, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to use Google. And so we use Google to translate, from English to Deutsch or German. And, it was a good process. Even with the anesthesiologist before, he put me to sleep and everything, they just made sure that I was comfortable. We kind of laughing, kind of joking. And he just reassured me that he was going to take very good care of me. And that process, even recovery, everything was good. They made sure that they dotted their T's, you know what I'm saying? Dotted their T's. Crossed their T's and dotted their I's. They just made sure that I really felt comfortable. And what's crazy is before we left to go to Germany, them folks was steady saying, ooh, when y'all get over there, y'all need to be careful. They don't like black people. They're gonna be racist when you get over there. All that stuff. The 2 years that we were there, even, I don't know if it was the fact that we were military, I don't know if that made a difference or not, but the whole 2 years we were over there, even in the German economy, we did not have any issues, no problems whatsoever, at least not to our faces. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what they said when we weren't looking or weren't paying attention, but we didn't have any real issues. And we ventured off to like castle ruins, and we were deep in some places, and we didn't have no issues at all. You know what I'm saying? I know that the experience is different for everyone, but just for me, how everything went for us, it was really good. Now, with me having had miscarriages back to back, when I did become pregnant with my 13-year-old, I was extremely like nervous. I was paranoid. Like, I was like, oh my God, I wanted to be able to check up on my baby like all the time. And Dr. Earhart, that was her name, or is her name. I actually looked her up to see if she was still over in Germany, in Amberg, practicing. And she actually is. Like, it would be crazy if I could go over there and like see her, and she'd probably be like, I don't remember you. But she is still practicing. Really sweet lady. And I remember voicing my concerns to her, when I went and I first had my first prenatal appointment. I was telling her, hey, I've had back-to-back miscarriages, and I'm just really nervous about this. Man, over here, they'll just be like, well, you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say that all doctors over here in the States will probably be like that, but for the majority, they will be like, it'll be okay. We'll see you next month. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't be nervous. It's okay. You can't tell nobody who they have 2 miscarriages back to back, don't be nervous. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. We ain't gonna do none of that. We want to be sure of what's going on. Our anxiety is like super high. You know what I'm saying? And we want to have a provider who's going to understand our concerns and why we are nervous and why we do feel the way that we feel, because look at what we've gone through. And so with that, she made sure that instead of me coming once a month, she was like, well, let's do your visits every 2 weeks. Let's do that. You can come in But make sure we're hearing heart tones, you know, all that stuff. And I literally saw that lady every 2 weeks. And then once I got to my, I think it was like 34th, 35th week, I was seeing her like literally once a week and sometimes twice a week. She was like, if you feel like you need to come to see me, even though it was a drive from Vilseck to Amberg where we were staying, I didn't mind. It was like maybe 45 minutes or so from where we were staying. But there was just this open door, like, you know, policy to, hey, I'm going to make sure that you feel as comfortable as you can. You know what I'm saying? I understand that you're nervous. I understand that you're scared. And I looked it up, and compared to here in the United States, they only had, I think within this last year, maybe 3 deaths per 100,000 versus here we have like 40 or more per 100,000 that can be prevented. And I think it's another country, I have to look it up, but they've had absolutely no deaths, like none, like, but we're supposed to be such a developed country, and we're supposed to, you know, have it all together. And it's just it's insane to me. It's insane to me how, and I'm not disrespecting the U.S. I don't want to talk about, you don't like the United States, you don't like it here, you can leave. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Whatever. But we're supposed to be, you know, so developed. We're supposed to be number one in this, and, you know, just the best place to live and all of that stuff. And no, you know, it's so much that we need help with. But anyways, so like I was saying, I saw her like literally every 2 weeks up until I was like 35 weeks, and I saw her every week, and then sometimes twice a week. And I was able to have my baby naturally. I did not have her with, you know, any drugs, no interventions or any of that. And I literally felt incredibly comfortable and incredibly safe giving birth that way there, even though, you know, they weren't really trying to offer me no pain medicine, no epidural anyway. I don't really think I had much of a choice. However, because I remember one time I was going to get some dental work done, you know, have my wisdom teeth removed, and I was like, so y'all gonna give me, like, what y'all gonna give me for this? They literally numbed my gums, snatched out 2 of my wisdom teeth, sent me home with ibuprofen, and told me that Americans are spoiled. That's what they said. You don't need nothing else. You're spoiled. You'll be fine. But you talk about somebody trying to be tough. Yeah. And they had to cut out like one of them, and I had to get like stitches. And I was at home with ibuprofen. But I made it. I did good. I made it. Anyways, so yes, I was able to give birth to my baby naturally there. And they talked me through everything. They guided me through everything. You know, it was a really good process. And when I tell you, when I had my baby, them nurses was taking care of my baby. I was almost scared they was trying to take her or something. But I remember, you know, wanting to be able to, you know, rest afterwards. And when the nurses came in, and one of the nurses came in, she's like, well, we'll take her, you know, take her to the nursery and all that stuff. And, you know, whenever you're ready for her to come back, you can just call us and we'll bring her back in. So I got up to go, you know, for a walk, and I looked in the nursery. Now, y'all know I'm in Germany. I'm in Germany at a German hospital, not on a military base, because they didn't offer like labor and delivery and like, you know, OB care and all that stuff on the base. You went to the economy. You went in the German economy, and you did everything that you needed to do. So I'm looking in that nursery. I'm seeing all these little, you know, little Caucasian babies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait, where's my little black baby? You know, with a little afro. She ain't in there. So I'm like, oh Lord, these folks done took my baby, right? So I look across the hall in the lunchroom. The nurses are sitting in there watching some type of TV show, but there's my baby. One of the nurses is sitting there. She's eating her food. She's eating her food with one hand, and she's got, you know, the little baby rolled in bed next to her, and she's just rocking it while she's eating her food. And I'm like, yeah, she making sure my baby is straight. So literally all the way down from, you know, the prenatal care all the way to postpartum, like I was good. I I didn't have to worry about anything. You know, they made sure that I was good. They made sure that I felt comfortable. They made sure, you know, that any fears, concerns, or, you know, anything that I had was addressed. And that makes a huge difference when you feel listened to, when you feel heard. And if they didn't know the answer to something, they made sure that they found out and they got back with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to figure out, like, why was I having these miscarriages like back to back? And they were like, well, okay, we're gonna, hopefully we can get through this pregnancy, and if not, because I think you have to miscarry like 3 times in a row before they're able to like check to see if there's any like abnormalities and different things like that. But this is a topic for another video, but there are sometimes some disorders with the placenta and things like that that can cause, like, you know, miscarriage and stuff like that, but that's a different video. But they were willing to you know, sit down and, you know, and try to figure this out with me. But fortunately, this third time around, it was successful. We didn't have to have any testing or anything like that, so that was a plus. But it's just so crazy how I grew up here in the United States, you know what I'm saying? And I went out of the country to experience something amazing that I should be able to experience here in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like, with my first pregnancy, my oldest, she's 21 today. That pregnancy, it was rocky. You know, it was up and down. I had high blood pressure issues. You know, I had all kind of things that was going on with their pregnancy. And I don't even remember him really sitting down and trying to address, you know, any of those concerns. Like, here, take this and go home. And if this happens, you know, you can always come back. And it's just like, I don't know about this. But of course, I was 18, I was young, I didn't know how to advocate for myself or anything. And then just thinking about that was my 8-year-old. That was a pretty good, you know, pregnancy. Dr. Mullinex, he was awesome. You know, if you're here in the Memphis area, Dr. Mullinex is really good. I like him a lot. And then with my 4-year-old, when I gave birth to her, and, you know, I almost bled to death. I almost lost my life because that one nurse decided, like, you're okay. You know, bleeding after you give birth is normal. You know what I'm saying? I know it's normal, but it shouldn't be like this, you know? And if it wasn't for that angel of a nurse that came in on shift change, trying to get emotional. If it was not for her, I could very well not be here today. It makes a difference when you listen to your patients. It really does. And it's crazy that you get better treatment somewhere else than you do at a place that you consider to be home. But anyways, so yes, is it safer to give birth overseas? I would say definitely. You know what I'm saying? But everybody doesn't have that option. I know there's some women that literally go to Africa, you know, to give birth because they're able to be taken care of even up until after birth. You know, there are a lot of people in countries overseas and cultures overseas who really, really, really believe in taking care of the mother up to 40 days after she gives birth, making sure that she is resting. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that she gets the foods and nutrients that she needs to replenish her body and her mind and her spirit after she's given birth. But over here, we're expected in what, 2, 4, 6 weeks, you're supposed to bounce back. You're supposed to be at work. You're supposed to be able to rip and run and do, you know, all this stuff. And that's a main reason why postpartum depression and, you know, psychosis and all that stuff is so high. Like, where's the support? It don't matter, you know. And I understand why a lot of people are choosing not to have babies. It's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot that goes into it. And when you don't have that support, it really makes a difference. But was giving birth overseas great for me? Yes, it really was. It was really awesome. I'm really grateful that I was able to experience that, because a lot of people don't, you know, they're not able to. You got a lot of people that deal with a lot of trauma, you know, when it comes to birth. And I'm not knocking all OBGYNs that are here. I'm just saying that you would expect to have a greater experience here in the US versus having to go overseas and have that experience. But that's just the world we live in. So anywho, I want to get on here and share this really quickly. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful holiday. If you don't celebrate Christmas, just enjoy your time off. I thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.